We're here at the Hope Awards in Washington with the original host of America's Most Wanted, John Walsh. Thank you so much for taking some time to speak with me.
Glad to be here. It's a real celebration. This is our 14th annual Hope Awards, where the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children honors victims that have been recovered from horrible abduction or sexual exploitation, and we bring together Congress people, police, corporations, and say, hey, we need your help to find these missing children.
Now, I was actually thinking of you recently because there's been a bunch of hearings on Capitol Hill about illegal immigration and crimes that are committed by people who are in the country illegally. There were victims' families testifying about this problem, where there are people who are illegally in the country that are in federal authorities' custody, and then they're released and they go on to commit crimes. Do you think the federal authorities should be releasing illegal immigrants who've committed crimes?
No, I've been so involved in this and hunted down many illegals that committed crimes. One of them I will always remember, Resendez Ramirez, the hobo serial killer, had been arrested and released by local county police, state police, and federal police 17 times. He went on to murder at least 8 women throughout the United States. They just put him across the border and he snuck in each time. I think that we need to do a better job of keeping illegal immigrants who commit horrible crimes in jail here in America and make them pay for their crime, not just dump them back across the border when they can come in. And so that has always been a problem. And coupled with that, on top of that, are the problems of all these young kids and young women who try to sneak in the United States to maybe be a maid at the Ritz-Carlton somewhere else, and they get grabbed by the cartels, the drug cartels, and sold into sexual slavery. America is the largest offender, the largest buyer of sex exploitation of women and children in the sex trafficking business. Everybody thinks it's in Vietnam and Cambodia and India. Yes, it is there. But America is the number one offender of sex trafficking of young children. So we have to realize what happens to these people when they come and try to sneak in the United States, get exploited and smuggled across the border and used in sex trafficking.
Based on the experience you just outlined, what do you think when you hear some on Capitol Hill, some lawmakers saying the border's secure, there doesn't need to be any more border security?
I have ridden the border more times and been involved in more operations on the border than any member of Congress ever had. I've ridden horses on the border, been in Black Hawk helicopters, and all types of vehicles. The border is as porous as the ocean. The border will never be able to build a wall on 2,000 miles and make it secure. We need to do a better job. And it's not just drugs that come across the border. It's human slaves. It's sex-trafficked young girls. It's people who sell guns and armaments illegally. I mean, it is a serious problem, and we really need to do a better job of making our borders secure. And that doesn't entail taking 11 million illegals that are here with families and children and pushing them back across the border. That's not the answer. My answer is that those people that have worked here for years and have had their children here, let them come in, let them be fingerprinted and DNA swabbed, because we have an FBI DNA data bank that's full of rape kits of people, women and little girls that have been raped in America, that their perpetrators have never been caught. So have them fingerprinted and swabbed and say, we're going to give you a work permit. So if your grandmother's dying in Guadalajara, Mexico, you can go home without sneaking across the border and risking your life to come back. And if you stay legal, you're not wanted, I mean, you don't do anything illegal, you're not wanted for any crimes, you pay your taxes for the next 5 or 6 years, you'll become an American citizen. You can't displace 11 million people, and we'll never be able to build a 2,000-mile border to keep a wall to keep our borders safe. We have to deal with the problem. Say, let's deal with the illegals that are here. Those that have committed crimes, we'll put them in jail, they'll serve their sentences. The other ones that are trying to make a living and trying to follow the American dream will give you a way to go home and see your families and still work until you become a American citizen.
You mentioned the wall, Donald Trump. You've known him for a really long time.
He's a friend. He's a friend of mine. He's raised money for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I think he thinks he can do it, but I have been along the borders in Arizona, New Mexico, California. I've gone through the drug tunnels. As I said, I've ridden through the helicopters at night in trucks on the border. It's an impossible task. And who will we get to man that? We have to do something different with the Mexican government. We really do.
The Border Patrol Union endorsed him.
Yeah, well, because he's the first guy that's really drawing attention to the problem. I mean, lots of Congress people have gone to the border for a 15-minute photo op. They don't know the problems. They don't know what the resources that we really need down there. They don't know how thin the ranks are. We need more personnel. We need to train them better. We need to give them better helicopters, better planes. We need to give them those tools so they can stop the potential ISIS guys that are going to come in. Those type of people, the Muslim extremists that want to come into America and replicate what they did in Paris and what they did in Brussels. That's what we need more Border Patrol for.
Do you like what you've been hearing from Trump now that he's the nominee? Will you be supporting him?
Well, he certainly, I've got to give Donald one real credit is that he promotes the conversation. He said, let's talk about crime. Let's talk about the incredible spike in homicides in the United States. Let's talk about the cities that are in total disrepair. Baltimore, Philadelphia, Chicago had 505 homicides last year.
In Washington, I'm Nicholas Palissy.